News just keeps coming thick and fast for the former royal known as Meghan Markle. But as many people have pointed out, this truly is her own undoing because as her battles seemingly get worse, if she'd only really been more open minded and possibly a little bit clearer with her version of events, perhaps it couldn't have happened. But as ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. This ongoing battle, as one could imagine, for the former royals known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is really impinging negatively, as one can imagine, on this coronation year over here in the United Kingdom. Sources close to the King and Prince William and naturally Catherine just believe it brings up negative points each time they're trying to do positives. Whether, of course, it's the King's warm spaces incentive, Catherine's charitable work with children, Prince William's charities. Everything seemingly gets pushed aside because family squabbles sell newspapers, as you can imagine. Harry and Meghan, they're still holding tight about their version of events, their side of stories, as you can imagine. They don't really want to relent on this. But now, as this sort of court case engulfs its way forward, which is set for a July date, it looks like certain people could be asked to expose certain things regarding exactly what went on, how and why, with regards to that now infamous interview with Oprah Winfrey, Meghan and Harry, where they sat down to reveal all, bombshell after another. As ever, let me explain. The bigger problem now for Oprah Winfrey and Harpo Productions is the judges and the people that are working on side for Samantha Markle would now like to look at a detailed account of the script. And it's perfectly acceptable to request this because while there's not necessarily a script, there's a narrative that went through. Now, as we've seen before with Meghan Markle, nothing is under rehearsed. If you recall way back to that trip in Africa where the ITV presenter Tom Bradbury actually asked her about how she was feeling, and she said not many people knew had asked that or know that. Well, we know that had been rehearsed because she'd been given the questions in advance and exactly she knew where she was going to be standing, what light, etc. So one could assume that something similarly went on with the Harry and Meghan interview. Now, while there might not be a full running script, there certainly would have been a script conference regarding what topics were allowed, topics that Oprah would be allowed to discuss in more detail, in particular the racist comments about the British monarchy and their responses, what they were allowed or prepared to say. This is exactly, according to a very good source, what the judge side would like to see detailed, exactly what were they prepared to talk about. As I say, this is getting incredibly messy. Not just messy, but highly embarrassing because the association now becomes highly embarrassing. And one has to wonder in the moments of clarity, if there are any out in that Montecito mansion for Prince Harry, whether he truly understands just what a mess he's dragged the rest of his family in. While he may claim that they were difficult, not loving, and he wanted a family rather than a constitution, perhaps they would have preferred someone who knew exactly about manners, protocol, and learning to, well, keep it zipped, as I often say. But for Meghan Markle, this is going to prove highly embarrassing because at some point, Harpo Production, as ever, we have to say allegedly, which is the production team behind Oprah Winfrey, will have to agree at least to a minimal chat to decide exactly what went on behind the scenes prior to filming. As I say, highly embarrassing for all. Developing story, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the heart of London.